everyone, this is me, Shalyka Garilao, and this is my report about the Chapter 5 Flexible Learning Environment Theories and Principles in the Use and Design of Technology-Driven Lessons. So, Lesson 1 is all about Edgar's Dale Cone of Experience. Lesson outcome: familiarize with Dale's cone of experience and provided classroom processes or practices that exemplify each strata of the cone of experience. Provided examples of the various instructional materials appropriate for given instructional context. So Edgar's Dale in 1900 to 1985 served on the Ohio State University as a faculty from 1929 until 1970. It seems like he served in this university in about 41 years. So he was an internationally renowned pioneer in the utilization of audiovisual materials in instruction. Professor Dale's most famous concept was called the cone of experience, a graphic depiction of the relationship between information is represented in instructions and outcomes for learners. So, in preparing to become a teacher, there are elements that should be taken into consideration. So, one way of putting it is in the 8 M's of teaching. So, the 8 M's of teaching are: number 1, milieu, the learning environment; number 2, matter, the content of learning; number 3, method, teaching and learning activities; number 4, material, the resources; number 5, media; number 6, motivation, it is the arousing and sustaining interest in learning; number 7, the mastery, internalization of learning; number 8, measurement, evidence that learning took place. So, with the references of the 8 M's instruction, one element is media and material. These 2 M's actually the 2 elements of cone of experience. So, Edgar Dale's cone of experience relates well with various instructional media which form that part of the system's approach to instruction. So now we're going to discuss the cone of experience. So the cone is a visual analogy, and like all analogies, it does not bear an exact and detailed relationship to the complex elements it represents. It is the first introduced in Dale's book 1946 book Audiovisual Methods in Teaching, designed to show the progression of learning experiences from the concrete to abstract. So it shows the continuum of learning, a pictorial device that presents bands of experience. It does not strictly define the bands to be mutually exclusive, but allows the fluid of movements across the levels. The version of Dale's concept experience with percentages as to which band will hone higher order thinking skills and engage learners more may be confusing because it may not necessarily mean that learning better takes place when materials or activities belong to the upper level of the cone, or that the nature of involvement is more active if it is in the bottom. So, Dale's 1969 asserts that the pattern or of arrangement of the band's experience is not difficulty but degree of abstraction, the amount of immediate sensory participation that is involved. In our teaching, then, we do not always begin with the direct experiences at the base of the cone. Rather, we begin with the kind of experience that is to the needs and abilities of particular learning situation. So now we're going to discuss the bands in Dale's cone of experiences. So number 1 is direct purposeful experience. It refers to a foundation of experiencing learning. Using the senses, meaningful knowledge and understanding are established. This experimental learning where one learns by doing. So number 2 is contrived experiences. What is contrived experiences? So it is in this category that representations such as models, miniatures, or mock-ups are used. There are things or events that may be beyond the learner's grasp, and so the contrived experiences can provide substitute. So yung models like diorama. And number 3 is dramatized experiences. We all know that these dramatized experiences is very familiar with us because we're in high school days, we're used to be dramatized or role playing. So these are commonly used as activities that allow students to actively participate in reconstructed experience through role-playing or dramatization. Number 4 is demonstrations. So what do you say when demonstrations? So when one decides to show how things are done. So it is showing how things are done, like how to bake cake or how to manage computers or PCs. Then number 5 is study trips. These study trips are visits to certain locations to observe a situation or case which may not be available inside the classroom. So next is exhibits. These are displays of models such as pictures, artifacts, posters, among others that provide the message or information. These are basically viewed, however, there are currently exhibits that allow the viewers to manipulate or interact with the display. As a result, the exhibit becomes more engaging and fun. So I remember when I was in high school, my classmates go to Nara to participate in the science exhibit. So number 7, television and motion pictures. This technology equipment provides a two-dimensional reconstruction of reality. So these allow learners to experience the situation being communicated through the mediated tools. They provide a feeling of realism as viewers try to understand the message portrayed by actors in the film. So these television and motion pictures are so familiar with us, right? So next is still pictures, recordings, and radio. Still pictures are pictures or images. Together in this category are the audio recorded materials or information broadcast through the radio. So this can be so informative. And next is the visual symbols. These are the abstract representations of the concept or the information. Examples of these are information presented through a graph or a chart. For example, a process can be presented using a flow chart. Then next is the verbal symbols. This category appears to the most abstract because they may not exactly look like the concept or object they represent, but are symbols, words, codes, or formula. So those are the bands of cone of experiences. So here is the influences on the cone of experience. In addition, Bruno's tiered model of learning points out that every area of knowledge can be presented in learning in 3 distinct steps. Those are inactive, iconic, and symbolic. So inactive means a series of actions. Iconic means a series of illustrations or icons. Symbolic, a series of symbols. So with young learners, it is highly recommended that a learner proceeds from the inactive to iconic and lastly to the symbolic. A young learner would not be rushed to move to immediate abstraction of the highest level without the benefit of gradual unfolding. However, when the learner is matured and capable to direct his own learning, it may move fluidly across the cone of experience. So my last report is all about the intentions of the cone of experience. So Dale stated or wrote that it may lead to a more useful way of thinking about audiovisual materials and their application in the classroom. The levels of cone experience is interactive. As one moves up the cone, there is not necessarily an increase in difficulty, but rather an increase in abstract thought. So the cone experience is from the bottom, it's concrete, to up is abstract. So that's all. Thank you.